Ukrainian Marines destroy 7 Russian vehicles with Javelins in Kursk. A single Ukrainian Marine Corps Javelin missile team destroyed 7 Russian vehicles over a 2-day period in Russia's Kursk Oblast, demonstrating the continued effectiveness of US-supplied anti-tank systems. According to Forbes, the team from the Ukrainian 36th Marine Brigade eliminated 3 Russian tanks and 4 BMD-4 fighting vehicles during the operation. The 200,000 FGM-148 Javelin anti-tank guided missiles, or ATGM, which carry an 8.4 kg warhead and can engage targets from over 4 kilometers away, were part of more than 10,000 units supplied to Ukraine by former US President Joe Biden's administration. The 60,000-strong Russian North Korean force in Kursk has been increasingly relying on infantry attacks due to growing shortages of modern armored vehicles. When mechanized assaults are attempted, Ukrainian missile teams positioned beyond the initial defensive lines of mines and explosive drones effectively engage the attacking vehicles. The Ukrainian air assault brigades, Marine, and special operations units all employ Javelin teams in their operations. Russian forces in the region are experiencing significant tactical limitations due to the ATGM threat. A Russian blogger cited by Forbes acknowledges that their tanks can now only operate from concealed positions, severely limiting their offensive capabilities. Despite Russian forces maintaining substantial anti-tank missile capabilities in Kursk, their effectiveness has been limited as Ukrainian forces have maintained largely defensive positions since August, reducing their vehicles' exposure to enemy fire. The future availability of Javelins remains uncertain, as new supplies would depend on decisions by current US President Donald Trump's administration. Ukraine started its incursion into Russia's Kursk Oblast last August, and within the first few weeks, Ukrainian forces took control of approximately 100 square kilometers of Russian territory. By now, the Russians had retaken more than half of the Ukraine-controlled territory. The Ukrainian Air Assault Brigade's Javelin teams might be the most notoriously bloodthirsty missileers in Kyiv's 800,000-strong military. But in Kursk, the missile shooters also include Marine and Special Operations units. In the span of 2 days recently, a single Javelin team from the Ukrainian 36th Marine Brigade destroyed 7 enemy armored vehicles in Kursk. The Ukrainian National Guard's 5th Special Forces Regiment has been firing Javelins at night. Even under the cover of night, Russian occupiers cannot hide. The Russians have their own anti-tank missiles in Kursk, and plenty of them. The only area where we are relatively adequate is with ATGMs, Russian blogger report. But with only a few exceptions, the Ukrainians have been on the defensive in Kursk since August. Their vehicles don't have to break cover, approach the front line, and expose themselves to Russian missiles. It may not last. Unless and until new US President Donald Trump sends more Javelins, the 10,000 missiles Biden gave Ukraine will eventually run out. But that's surely cold comfort to the Russian tank crews who are getting blasted now. Recently, Ukrainian troops avoided encirclement as Russian forces are poised to capture Velika Novosilka, Donetsk Oblast, said the 110th Separate Mechanized Brigade. But fighting is ongoing around the village, which lies around 15 kilometers east of the neighboring Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. While Russian troops will likely capture the village soon, they will struggle to advance their offensive onward. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed on Jan 24 that its troops had planted a Russian flag in the center of Velika Novosilka and that they had split the town in two, cutting off Ukrainian forces. The southern pocket fell most recently.
Where's the
It is unclear how many Ukrainian troops were trapped inside the southern pocket in Velika Novosilka, but it could be around 2 or 3 battalions, according to Pasi Paroinen at the Finland-based open-source intelligence organization Blackbird Group. The number of soldiers is probably around several hundred. Fighting is at a very heavy level in Donetsk Oblast, and Russian troops continue to advance, albeit slowly this year. Throughout the fall of 24, Russian forces made operational gains in southern Donetsk Oblast, including areas near Toretsk and Chasiv Yar, while advancing near Kupiansk and on Russian soil in Kursk Oblast.